Hello there and welcome to Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. Do excuse me, I've had therapy today. So yes, let's put the channel name up. That might give me a little bit of a clue here. So welcome to Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. And this is the channel where on Thursday lives with Inspirational Thursday Thoughts. This is Who Are You? Learning more about your feelings and positivity, progressing in life by knowing more about yourself and the world about you. So inspiration and life progression. And today we're talking about stress, but not in a bad way. We're going to do a fun quiz. And today I'm asking you, what is it that makes you feel stressed or anxious? And think about why So we have Fossil Cat here. Let's give you Fossil Cat. And we've talked before about how pets can actually help with stress and anxiety. But today, as I say, it's going to be a bit of a fun quiz to find out more about that. So what makes you feel stressed or anxious? Why? Think about the reasons why. And can you actually do something about it? So let me know in the comments after this video is up and tell me what you can do about it and what your issues are. And then you might have somebody else in the comments will respond and give you some tips how they got over that situation. So as I say, a fun quiz today that we will do that might even reveal things you didn't know. So we'll see about that as well. And before we begin, we have a little promo for today. You may have noticed the cat has changed. This is Mr. Colin Waffles, and he's looking a bit put out because I've been to treatment all day. And look at him, he's like, Mummy, why are you doing StreamYard lives now when you should be giving me some attention? So let's get on with today. So let's start looking at the quiz. You will need pen and paper. I forgot to say that. You will need pen and paper. So while you're doing that, I'll just give you a little promo of my other channel, which shows you how I get through things. It will say in the promo, but I was a professional dancer. I had a terrible rare accident. And if I can overcome things, many other things besides, then I'm sure you can too. So while you're getting the pen and paper, for those of you not participating in the quiz, here's a little promo for you. Okay, so have you got your pen and paper? So this is about stressfulness, and I'll just read from my psychology book because I do have a degree in psychology. So this is something I'm very interested in many ways, and I do know what I'm talking about. And it says some stress is necessary in all our lives, but too much can increase the risk we run of becoming ill or having an accident. It is easy to recognise some of the major and unpleasant causes of stress, but we need to remember that it can be caused also by pleasant things that we look forward to, as well as the unpleasant things we dread. This test will help you calculate the amount of potential stress in your life. During the last 6 months, how many of the events listed have happened to you? Count up the number of A's, B's, C's, D's and E's and enter them into the boxes where you'll just write them on your paper. Multiply this figure by the value to give a total for each letter and then add up the total score. Don't worry about that for now. I'll recap on that when we're done. Finally, read the interpretations for each of the three major causes of stress in our lives. So first of all, you've got to write down, as I say, that's happened to you in the last 6 months. So the first statement is you have achieved something outstanding and received recognition for it. If that's you in the last 6 months, write down the letter D. If not, write nothing. So in the last 6 months, if you have achieved something outstanding and receive recognition for it. The next statement, so this is, remember, in the last 6 months, if there have been changes to your daily routine, e.g. the way you travel to work. If that applies to you, now write underneath the letter E. The next statement, don't worry if you're not writing anything down and don't worry if you're writing everything down. So the next statement, if it's applied to you in the last 6 months, if there have been changes in the amount or type of your social activities. So if that applies to you, write E. So you may have a list of different letters written down now. The next statement, there have been changes that affect your leisure interest. For example, you've taken up a new sport. If that applies to you over the last 6 months, write down the letter E. The next statement, there have been changes in your sleeping or eating habits, even if, for example, you have gone on a diet. If that applies to you in the last 6 months, write the letter E. And don't worry, if you haven't got all this, you can always play this live back later if you're watching it live now. The next statement, remember in the last 6 months, if this applies, you smoked more than 40 cigarettes or vaped a day and have given up smoking. So either of those statements, that's a B, letter B. The next statement is you smoked less than 40 cigarettes a day and have given up smoking. Write letter D. The next statement, you were addicted to or dependent on hard drugs or alcohol and have given them up. If that applies to you in the last 6 months, write the letter A. The next one, remember in the last 6 months only, you have been on holiday or vacation. If that applies in the last 6 months to you, write the letter E. The next one, Christmas has taken place. Remember, it's got to be in the last 6 months, so I think we all have the same answer or no answer. So if this is true, write the letter E. The next one, you have moved house in the last 6 months. Write the letter D. You live in a noisy or stressful surroundings within the last 6 months. Write the letter B. You have suffered a serious personal injury in the last 6 months. Write the letter A. You have been ill other than minor ailments. Write the letter A. You have been in a major accident or undergone a major shock, such as car crash, fire, etc. Write the letter B. you have received a parking ticket or committed a similar offence. Remember, this is all in the last 6 months only. Write the letter E if that applies. You have been convicted of a crime and sent to prison. Write the letter A. So that's all those. So now you need to add up how many A's, how many B's, how many C's, how many D's, and how many E's. So write the number of those. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Shouldn't have too many there. Okay, now of the A's, the value is 50. So write 50 next to A as the value. Use the word value, so put value of A is 50. Value of B is 40. Value of C is 30. Value of D is 20. And value of E is 10. And that's you and your lifestyle is the first section. Now you're going to do a total. So I'll read you the first bit again to work out your total. Count up your number of A, B, C's, D's, E's, which you've done, and then multiply the amount of, say, A's by the value. So if you've got, for example, 4 A's, you would multiply 4 by the value of 50 and have a total of that. Let's say you've got 3 B's. B's value is 40, so that will be 3 times 40, and so on and so forth. So while you're working those out, I will just play you another little interlude that you can enjoy if you're not taking part. Okay, so let's move on to section B. So this is your heading of your family and other close relationships. So we're going to start a whole new section now, doing it the same way as before. And remember, this only applies to the last 6 months. So a completely new box, a whole new section. So if this applies to you in the last 6 months, the first statement is you have married or remarried in the last 6 months. If that applies to you, write the letter A. The next statement is there has been an enforced, unwanted separation from your partner. If that counts in the last 6 months, write the letter C. The next statement. In the last 6 months, you have had problems with your in-laws. If that is a statement that applies, write the letter D. The next statement. You and your partner are arguing more. If that applies in the last 6 months, write the letter C. The next statement. You have been unfaithful to your partner in the last 6 months. If that is true, write the letter C. The next statement. You have discovered your partner's infidelity. If that's correct, in the last 6 months, write the letter C. Next statement. You have had or are having sexual difficulties. If that's true in the last 6 months, write the letter B. And the next statement. You have been reconciled with your partner in the last 6 months. If that's true, write the letter B. The next statement. There have been changes in your family or domestic routine. If that's true, write the letter E. The next statement. You or your partner are pregnant, whether a planned or unplanned pregnancy. Again, these are all in the last 6 months. If that's true, write the letter B. Next statement. A baby has been born in your immediate family. If that's so, write the letter C. One of your children has started school, left home, or married. So write the letter D. The next statement. Your immediate family has gained a new member through marriage. If that's so, write the letter C. A member of your immediate family suffers from alcoholism, drug addiction, or similar compulsive behaviour. If that is correct, in the last 6 months, write the letter A. And the next statement. A member of your immediate family has had an accident or been taken ill. If that is correct, in the last 6 months, write the letter B. A member of your immediate family has recovered from an accident or illness. If that's true, in the last 6 months, write the letter B. A member of your immediate family has died in the last 6 months. If that is true, write the letter A. And the last one, a close friend of yours has died in the last 6 months. Write the letter B. And again, you're going to do the same as last time. Add up the number of A's, the number of B's, C's, D's, E's. And the value is still the same as those. So write a column of value. A's value is 50, B is 40, C is 30, D is 20, and E is 10. And then you do your multiplication. The amount of A's multiplied by the value of 50, the amount of B's you got multiply by 40. So if you've got 2 B's, that will be 2 times 40, etc., etc. So the same as we did last time, but keep that as a separate addition. Don't add it to the previous one. And that is going to be your answer about your family and other close relationships. And why you do that, we'll just play another little interlude for anyone not taking part at this time or who are busy multiplication. So you can always pause this recording if watching it back later, of course, if you need a little more time. And then we have one more section to complete, and then I'll give you the results. So this is your titled section, your job and your finances. If you want to jot that down so you remember what this section's about, then it's your job and your finances. And same format as before, every answer only applies to the last 6 months, not if it's happened at any point in your life, only the last 6 months, as all of these questions. So the first statement, so if this has happened to you in the last 6 months only, you started work for the first time or returned to work after a long absence. If this is true, write the letter D. Next statement, you have a very responsible or very harassing job. If this is true, then write down the letter B. The next statement, you are constantly overworked. If this applies, write the letter B. The next statement, you have a major anxiety at work. You have had a major anxiety at work, e.g., your company's failing, your staff have gone on strike, those kind of things. If that is true in the last 6 months, write the letter B. Next statement, you have changed or are changing job. If that is true in the last 6 months, write the letter C. Next statement, there have been changes in your job or at your place of work, such as new offices, new boss, anything like that. If that's so, write the letter C. I would say these days new policies and things like that as well apply. The next statement, you have been promoted or demoted. If that is true in the last 6 months, write the letter D. If you don't work, of course, these are going to be pretty no letters at all. Don't worry if you're not writing anything. The next statement, you have had difficulties with your boss or other superiors. If that is true in the last 6 months, write the letter E. I've only got a few more to go, don't worry. The next statement, you have retired, whether it was planned or unplanned. If that's true in the last 6 months, write the letter B. You have been dismissed or made redundant. If that is true in the last 6 months, write the letter B. There has been a major change in your financial state, for better or for worse. If that's true in the last 6 months, write the letter C. You owe more than 1 year's salary, e.g. on your mortgage. If that's correct, write the letter D. And finally, you have applied for a large mortgage or loan. If that's true in the last 6 months, write the letter E. And again, you're going to add that up exactly the same, right? How many A's, B's, C's, D's and E's, and then multiply each of those by their value. So it's the same values again as before. A's value is 50, B's value is 40, C's value is 30, D's value is 20, and E's value is 10. So again, if you've got 7 A's, you multiply 7 by the value, which is 50 for that letter, and write the total. So that's what you're going to do. When you've got all your totals for each letter, don't mix up the categories, but when you've got the totals for all of those, then put a final total at the bottom. So that's your job and finances total score. So we just check we're doing that correctly. Enter yes, value, then add up the score. Finally, read the interpretations for each of the 3 major causes of stress in your life. So yes, so keep each one separate. So you've got a lifestyle total score was the first section, A family and close relationship score was the second one, and job and finances score is the third one. And I'll just play one more interlude and then I'll read you the results. Please do share this video with your friends, particularly if you think they're worrying about stress and perhaps they shouldn't or don't have as much stress as they perceive to have. So you should have now 3 scores. You should have one for your lifestyle, one for your family and close relationships, and one for jobs and finances. Now, what I'm reading for the answers are for each category. So as I say the number, you can look at which one that represents of any of those 3. So look to see if any of those final scores of each of those 3 categories is between 0 and 50. So have a look at any that you've got totaling 0 to 50, and this is what it means for those categories. If your total score is less than 50, there is little stress in your life. You're unlikely to become ill or have an accident. Go you if that's you. Do tell me in the comments below which category you fall through. So basically, you might have a very high score in one of these 3 sections and a really low score or no score at all in another. Perhaps if you don't work, you got 0 to 50 in the jobs and finances, but not necessarily. Okay, look at any of those categories, of those 3 categories where you scored between 50 and 150. So take note about what that is, whether it's your lifestyle, your family and relationships, or your job and finances. If your score is between 50 and 100, then your chances of becoming ill or having an accident have increased now by 35%. If your total score is between 100 and 150, your chances of becoming ill or having an accident have increased by 50%. You should try to reduce the amount of stress in the areas of your life over which you have control. So as I spoke about at the very beginning, are you choosing to be stressed by things that really you shouldn't be stressed about, or are they things you really can't control? Maybe it's your job and it's a very stressful job. Well, yes, you can control that. You can change your job. Is your lifestyle stressful? Yes, you can change that, as I did. So do think about what is causing the stress and find ways to get rid of that stress. And the last section is if you've scored 150 or more. If your score is over 150, your chances of becoming ill or having an accident have increased by 80%. You should take as much care of yourself as possible and attempt to lead a quiet and unstressed life until your score is reduced. So you can come back and do this test again in a further 6 months' time. Maybe keep a record of your scores and do a comparison. So as I say, everyone can change most of the stress in their life. You've just got to make those changes. So do let me know your answers in the comments below. And as I say, do share this video and let's see if we can all help each other reduce any stress, anxiety, and any such things. So let's stay positive out there and let's do something about the problems that we have, and let's get rid of the problems. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish with a quote and then my outro, and I wish you all the best and see you tomorrow on my other channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus. No, I lie. It's Thursday today. I will see you on this channel tomorrow, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, where we have chat and fun. So do look out for that. So until tomorrow, thanks for watching.